Hello, everyone. Seems like I always want to talk about beginnings. I was there. Yes, I truly was there when Jesus began his wonderful ministries. I knew that was my role. I knew that I was supposed to be sent back. I knew that I was supposed to guide him in the beginning. And I knew pretty much what I was supposed to be doing with my life. How many of you know what you're supposed to be doing with your life? I know there are people that totally understand. I know that Barry and Connie understand that they're supposed to be spreading the words of God. Of those of us that were close to him, he's supposed to be writing books of God's words and the words of those that were around him. And he's done all this, and he'll be doing more. But how many of you really understand what you're supposed to be doing with your life? It might be a very simple path for you. It might be just simply as helping spread his words. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be doing all of the things that Barry and Bill are doing. I'm not saying that you should ignore your family for spreading his words. There are many people that do a lot of things at the same time. I would really like it if your faith began with your children. You see, the children are the key to the future. If the children don't believe in God, then we got problems. Children are the beginning. You ever think of it like that? Children are the beginning of the next 80 to 90 years of human history. If you can give the children a good beginning, then things will be much better for everyone. You see, children are the leaders of tomorrow. If you lay those future leaders a strong foundation of understanding the words of God, then things are going to go much better for humans in the future. If you pull away from God, then the children, they're not going to do well. There's many examples of that. Today we have countries at war again for no reason whatsoever. Russia has been a very troubled nation. Their children have been affected by war. They've been affected by communism. They have not been affected by a leader that truly ever represented the words of God. So you see, those children have grown up, and you see what you have. They believe that you should just simply take what you want. If you want the resources of another country and you have a strong military, well, just go out and take it. Nobody's going to mind. Well, the people are. The poor people that are involved, their lives are going to be disrupted. Many of them are going to die. The children of Russia have not had a strong foundation. World War II tore their country apart. World War I affected it. The communists, the Soviet Union. Those children have all been affected by all of those influences that have misled them. Now, the United States is a little better. They've had very strong people of God that have tried to bring the messages. Many of the people have ignored those messages. Many of those people use the technology that God gave them to prove that there's no God. Boy, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? You see, God tests everyone, and many have been tested by having technology. How you use that technology determines how you will lay the foundation for your children. Many of the people have used that foundation to teach your children that God doesn't exist. If you ask people whether they believe in God, many of them are going to lie to you. They say, oh, yeah, I believe in God. I've been given this great foundation. I know all the truths of God. And then they go out and do exactly what they want. They will steal from others. Now, they may not blatantly steal, but they'll figure out, maybe in many instances, how to take people's money. High taxes. That's taking people's money. And what do they use the money for? Many politicians just use it to grow rich. I know you hear many different things and many different messages from Barry. That is the intent. Each time that we come through, he has absolutely no idea what he's going to speak of. He had no idea what I was going to say today, but I had contacted him and I'd let him know that I wanted to speak. Well, God wanted me to speak. He wants me to try to influence as many as I can. And when I bring a message through, that's what he wants me to do. Any of you out there can face a new beginning. The life that you've lived so far is in the past. Now, I'm not saying that that life that you've lived is going to be forgotten when you return. You'll be told about it. But you can change. You can make this the first day of the rest of your life. You can make this the day that you take the initial steps of laying a foundation of the teachings of God for others. It's not hard. Start with a single person. Tell them that God truly exists. Tell them that when you pray, he hears you. And tell them that he wants you to help others. He wants you to follow a single rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If you don't want anybody else to steal from you, then don't steal from anybody else. If you don't want to be hated, don't hate anyone else. Do what you can to bring happiness and joy to others. There are an incredible amount of people out there now that are hurting. The inflation, it's been terrible. You see, when people become incredibly rich, that is money that is taken from others. Others could be learning. Others could be prospering from that money. You see, if an owner of a business is a billionaire, he could have paid higher salaries to the people that work for him. He may have had a little bit less, but nobody needs that kind of money today. Many individuals think that earning money is a scorecard. The more money that they can have in their accounts, the more successful they are. Well, if they don't use any of that money to help others, that money in their account is a scorecard showing how unsuccessful they will be when they return. People with great wealth have great opportunities to help others. Now, many have. Andrew Carnegie is a wonderful example. He was probably the richest person in the world in those days, and he devoted the end of his life to using all of his money to help others. Many of you don't have money to help others. That's a problem. Many of you are wonderful people and are having problems making ends meet. That's terrible. A wealthy society should lay foundations of government and of assistance so that nobody is truly suffering. The organized religions of the world do a great job with charity. That's the best thing that religions do. They help many people. Even if you're struggling, you can help others. Call them on the phone. A phone call is free. Many senior citizens are very lonely. This is a time of year, Christmas, that brings much depression to many. Many people, many seniors, have seen so many of their family members and friends leave, and they don't. Many of them understand that they're in a far better place, but there's no substitute for loneliness and depression. You can tell yourself that they're in a better place and you can truly understand it, but you still absolutely miss those people. The passing of those around you, it's a difficult test under any circumstances. God made it like this. It's part of your test. You have to understand. Watching others around you pass or have great physical difficulties is a terrible test. But if you thoroughly understand that they're in a better place, that their energies, their soul energies, are still very close to you, they still love the same as they did when they walked the earth with you. The only thing that's changed is that they have gone into the dimension of heaven, and you can't speak to them. Well, some can. Barry can. You can't hold them in your arms. You can't give them hugs, but they're still there. Don't ever forget that. Your loved ones are always still close. Love doesn't change when you go to heaven. Those souls in that plane still love the same as they did when they walked the earth with you. You have to remember that. That's the only cure that you're ever going to have for grief and depression. If you focus on that, it can help lead towards a new beginning. Beginnings are generally a good thing. You can begin it at an old age. Nothing stops you from beginning to follow the words of God. Nothing stops you from helping others. Nothing stops you from being positive in how you believe, in being positive in absolutely knowing that God exists. Christmas is approaching very rapidly. Many of you probably won't be allowed to or won't be able to afford to buy presents. Let your love be a present. Show that love to others. Explain to the children that love of God is the most important present that they can ever give themselves. Remember that Christ is the reason for Christmas. Presents are ancillary. Presents are a good thing, but they aren't the best thing. Love of God is the best thing. Love of God is the greatest present that you can give to others. Use the Christmas time to grow close. Know that those around you are not going to be there forever, especially the seniors. They're approaching their time of going home. Make the most of the time you have with them. So I thank you for allowing me to return. I hope that my words will help guide you through these times. I hope that I'll be allowed to return again sometime and speak with you. I know Thomas is coming next week. He said he enjoyed the other times he's been here, so he's going to come back and he'll have a wonderful message. So tell your friends. The message that you would have the ability to speak with Thomas the disciple is a miracle. Have your friends participate in this miracle. So thank you very much. I know that God is here. He's always here. And I know that He is blessing all of you. So goodbye, and thank you for listening.